their benefits. And let me just tell you why that is so egregious. On the 15th of this month, they got paid $15,000, maybe more, but not any less. They had 58 million views last month, and probably 50 million of those were qualified.
Today's situation with Stephanie Jenkins is one of those stories you truly have to hear to believe. What started out as a tale of hardship and struggle has exploded into a full-blown scandal that could change everything for her and her family, and is far from the Cinderella ending she tried to paint. For a long time, Stephanie and her boyfriend Drew Jenkins presented themselves as a struggling young couple just trying to survive.
It is not 1,000, 2,000, it is multiples of thousands. So far this month, by all the videos I can put together and just calculate the views, they have had 32 million views. Each video had 770.
They lived in a cramped, one-bedroom motel room with their 5 young children, relying entirely on government assistance to make it through day by day. Their rent was paid by housing programs. Their groceries came from food stamps via EBT. Their medical expenses were fully covered through government aid. Cash aid and probably several other benefits worked together to keep their family afloat. From the outside, it looked heartbreaking. 5 kids packed into a motel room, barely scraping by, a father figure who seemed largely absent in any meaningful way. It tugged at the heartstrings of anyone who watched.
Likes, comments, etc. And you do get for engagement, monetization. But they have so far had over 20 million views between all of the videos that she's had so far. She tries to post once a day at least, so that is...
It was the textbook definition of a family stuck in a vicious cycle of poverty, the very image of who public assistance is meant to help. Most people couldn't help but root for them, believing that if anyone deserved a break, it was this family. But once you looked a little closer, the cracks started to show. Behind the scenes, Stephanie wasn't just barely getting by, she was quietly pulling in a real income through social media.
Twice a week and also get sub chats. So just know that already it's not even the end of April quite yet. We've got another week and a half to go, and she has already made over $8,000 this month. She just got paid.
Particularly TikTok, and not just a few dollars here and there. She was making thousands every month, not hundreds, thousands. Enough to completely change her family's situation if she had wanted to. Enough to move her children out of the grim motel environment and into a real home with proper bedrooms, a kitchen, maybe even a backyard where her kids could finally experience the simple joys of childhood they'd been denied for so long. Instead of using her growing income to better their lives,
paid over $8,000 already, is going to get paid again on Saturday and then next Wednesday again. So how in the fuck do they still get any sort of assistance from the state? Yeah, well, you can't even afford to get to work because your gas tank is empty.
Stephanie chose to keep up appearances, carefully maintaining the image of a desperate, struggling mom barely holding things together. She continued to present herself online as someone living in constant fear of homelessness, someone desperate for help, someone stuck in a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. All the while, she was stacking cash behind the scenes, building a comfortable financial cushion she made sure no one could see.
No longer receiving assistance, and they have the nerve to literally be mad at other people for it. I feel like if you make money on social media, there's no reason to be taking from the state when you could be letting somebody else get that assistance instead. I feel like all moms have been there at some point.
It was a carefully played double life. Publicly, she tugged at her followers' heartstrings, encouraging sympathy and support. Privately, she was raking in enough money to fund not just survival, but a completely different lifestyle, one she didn't share with her audience. Eventually, cracks started to appear that even she couldn't patch over. Stephanie went online and admitted that she was terrified, but not for the reasons she originally led people to believe.
Even I have gotten assistance before, but when the money starts rolling in from social media, there is absolutely no need for government assistance. If you're making thousands, which the resilient Jenkins are, there should be no reason why you can't go and drop $200, $300, even $400 on groceries.
She confessed she was scared of losing her benefits, now that her TikTok income was becoming impossible to hide. She said she feared having to cover her family's expenses out of her own pocket for the first time in decades. But here's the thing, if you're pulling in $15,000 or more every month, are you really struggling? Are you truly terrified of losing your home and feeding your kids? Or are you just afraid of growing up and facing real adult responsibilities without the government safety net you've relied on your whole life? Government aid isn't meant to be a lifelong crutch. It's meant to provide temporary help, to lift people up during their worst times so they can eventually stand on their own. But Stephanie wasn't standing up, she was lounging comfortably.
new car. And Drew just bought a $100 game. Yes, a $100 video game. So you being concerned about losing assistance while your man is buying $100 video games is wild to me. My next question is, why is she posing?
Treating the system like a permanent lifestyle choice, all while lying to thousands of people who genuinely wanted to see her succeed. Since October of last year, Stephanie's TikTok took off like wildfire. She was earning no less than $15,000 a month from subscriptions, live stream gifts, sponsorships, and Facebook bonuses. That number doesn't even factor in potential brand deals, Instagram monetization, or side hustles she might have picked up. If you do the math, she was on track to earn a six-figure salary, all while living in a tiny motel, telling the world she couldn't afford a real roof over her family's head. Meanwhile, Drew remained useless.
Struggling. They have money, but they choose to be in a one-bedroom motel. And it's like, is the engagement and the likes and the views worth everything that it's doing to their children?
Contributing nothing meaningful to their family's future. Yet Stephanie stayed in that motel room, pretending every single day that they were living on the edge of survival. And if that wasn't enough proof that their lives were changing behind the scenes, the cherry on top came when they rolled out in a brand new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta, a shiny, fresh off the lot vehicle that didn't exactly scream poverty. Nothing screams struggling family more than showing up in a brand new car fresh off the lot. It's hard not to see it for what it really is, fraud. Stephanie might have thought she could keep her two lives separate, but the government isn't known for overlooking things like this. Either her benefits ran out or they finally figured out she was making enough money to support herself and her family without needing help.
Not serious. She literally thought about going to Disney when they have no home to go to. And that right there tells you they make enough money, because if they could take a family of 7 to Disney, they could afford some kind of housing. She also said that she doesn't know anybody that has flipped their life around in less than a year. Well, Stephanie, let me tell you something. I came home from prison after doing 5 years with absolutely nothing, not underwear, nothing. September 11th of 2019. By December 1st, I had a job. I did not start off making much. It was like $15 an hour. I climbed.
And here's the real issue. When you're caught receiving government benefits while secretly raking in cash, that's not just a minor issue. It's fraud, and it can lead to serious consequences. The government has the power to demand repayment, garnish wages, and even press criminal charges. If Stephanie thought losing her benefits was bad, she might want to start preparing for a federal investigation. But as all of this unfolds, let's not lose sight of the real victims in this story: the kids. Despite the fact that Stephanie and Drew were pulling in 2 incomes, they still left their children trapped in that motel. These poor kids were sleeping on kitchen floors, using washcloths as toilet paper, and living in the kind of conditions no child should have to endure. So here we are, talking about mismanaged benefits, no savings, and absolutely no backup plan. What happens to the children when this is the reality they face?
Where I make way more than that today. Multiple streams of income. Was home less than 5 years and bought my own home. Oh, it seems like you're okay with staying here for at least a year, which is long term. With your TikTok income, if Drew would go and actually get a job, y'all would be able to afford those basic things. But you love to blame everyone else but yourself and Drew. And then she had the nerve to say, we haven't had any big changes to our finances, but you make hella money on TikTok. Your subs alone does really well, and you get millions of views on your videos. So who are you fooling?
If Stephanie couldn't prioritize her kids when she was pulling in extra money, what makes anyone think she'll suddenly change now? The way Stephanie and Drew spend their money paints a troubling picture. While most parents would be figuring out how to make sure their kids have food, shelter, and security, Drew is dropping hundreds of dollars on video games like it's no big deal. Meanwhile, Stephanie's dreaming of lavish Disney vacations instead of securing a stable home for her family. Their spending is based on fleeting pleasures rather than long-term stability for their children. This isn't just irresponsible, it feels intentional. They seem more focused on instant gratification than creating a secure future. Every choice they make shows a complete lack of foresight, and it's clear they have no regard for the responsibility they owe to their children.
To being dirty. Girl, that's just you. You can just use your EBT to get motherfucking baking soda to brush your teeth. Because how in the fuck is it been 2.5 years for y'all to provide fucking hygiene products? Bitch, you got on here and you told the world that you needed this, that, and the third. Why you didn't ask for toothpaste? Now, granted, I didn't look at your motherfucking Amazon wish list. I ain't go over there. I don't follow you. I don't subscribe to you. But this is my point. Like, you had a whole Amazon fucking wish list and you ain't asked for none of that shit. I mean, you just went by. Now you bringing this shit up. Like, ain't no fucking way you gonna tell me you didn't ask these motherfuckers for motherfucking toothpaste, toothbrush, tissue. You over here
This isn't just about being careless. It's about neglecting their kids' future for the sake of short-term indulgence. And that's what's heartbreaking. Every dollar they waste on things like video games or vacations isn't just money gone to waste, it's a missed opportunity for their children. It's a warm meal that never happens, a safe bed that never gets made, a healthy childhood that will never be lived. Every reckless purchase is another blow to their kids' futures. So the big question is, should Stephanie lose her benefits, even if it means her kids will suffer more? On one hand, it seems like justice. She's been manipulating the system, taking resources away from families who really need it. For many people who've been following the rules, seeing her face the consequences feels like a victory. It's about fairness and ensuring that programs meant to help those in need aren't exploited by those who can afford to stand on their own 2 feet.
Hygiene, poverty, but bitch, you asked them Amazon wishlist to give Drew a fucking shit to wash cars. In that moment, you didn't think to get some shit on your Amazon wishlist to wash your ass, brush your teeth, like what? Okay, to wash, not even to wash cars. He said he want to make a business out of washing people fucking tires, bitch. You asked for a steam cleaner. You asked for bump pads and shit. Hell, you should have been humble and asked for fucking toothpaste, soap. What the fuck is you talking about? Girl, you got motherfucking Native, name brand Native. And don't get me wrong, I got Native skincare products too, but I got it on clearance.
But then there's the collateral damage, the innocent children. They didn't ask for this life. They didn't choose to be born into a situation where their parents are making poor decisions. The consequences of their parents' actions won't hit Stephanie or Drew as hard as it will hit the kids. They will be the ones who face hunger, instability, and the shame of growing up without basic needs being met. Perhaps losing their benefits would be the wake-up call Stephanie needs. Maybe it would force her to stop chasing internet fame, get a real job, and focus on building a stable future for her kids. Maybe it would finally make her realize that being a parent isn't about instant pleasure, but about sacrifice and responsibility. But based on everything we've seen, the constant poor decisions,
You're over here telling us that you can't afford this fucking type of shit. Mind you, I just put clear footage on my page that shows that you can go to local pantries, local community organizations, community ministries that will provide feminine products, hygiene products. And now you fucking trolling. Now you fucking trolling, Stephanie.
the endless cycle of irresponsible spending, it seems more likely that they'll dig their heels in deeper. They'll deny the truth, blame others, and keep prioritizing their own comfort over the well-being of their children. And in the end, it's not Stephanie or Drew who will suffer the most from their choices. It will be their kids who are left to pick up the pieces of a life they never asked for. They'll bear the brunt of their parents' selfishness, and that's what's truly tragic. So yes, Stephanie should be held accountable for exploiting the system. But we can't forget about those kids. They deserve a chance at a better life, even if their parents are making choices that are only making things worse. They shouldn't have to suffer just because their parents are chasing cheap thrills instead of prioritizing their needs. Losing benefits might be the start of Stephanie's reckoning, but for those kids, it could be the start of a nightmare they can't escape. So what do you think? Should the government protect the children while holding Stephanie accountable? Or should they let her face the full consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe. Trust me, this story is far from over and things are only going to get messier from here.